Hello and welcome to another edition of the CAI Report. I'm Mike Livingston with you from the Coachella Valley chapter of CAI, Community Associations Institute, a national governing body for homeowners associations, vendors, managers, and owners who live in gated communities and condominium associations. We have over 250,000 gated communities or common interest developments in the United States today, over 16,000 in California, more being built every day. And right here alone in the Coachella Valley, we have over 335. That is growing on a daily basis, as are all of our neighbors down in San Diego. CAI Television is a way to help educate the public and make you, the owner of a common interest development, more active and more knowledgeable about the atmosphere that you've chosen to live in. Today I'm lucky to have with me a couple of guests from, in this case, Allied Barton Security. They are a vendor that provides services to homeowners associations all up and down California, and I'm happy to have two of their members with us today. Maury Mortensen is the account manager and the regional manager for Allied Barton. Maury, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You've been here in the Coachella Valley for quite a while. Tell us about yourself.
Well, about 14 years. I originally came with Westin Hotels and Resorts at the opened the Westin Mission Hills property. I was with KSL Recreation, La Quinta Hotel, PGA West for about 5 years. Also opened the Augustine Casino, so I bring 20 plus years of security experiences to my work with Sun City community in Palm Desert.
Mm-hmm. And how does any of that tie with residential security? Is that a little bit different than I would suspect that, as in life and any other realm of life, that different things apply in different situations. How have you found that that's worked for you in residential?
I think it's worked really well. It's if you get to the nuts and bolts, security is security. It's applying those basic concepts, but the things that I bring from a hospitality environment is dealing with residents of the community. So I'm enjoying it very much, and lots of the skills that I have in loss prevention, risk management, and security are helping the association. So
good. Well, we're glad to have you in our chapter now, and going to see you a little bit more at some of our monthly functions. We do have monthly breakfast meetings and other educational seminars and events that we host quite a bit. Also with us today is Jeremy Ridgway, a very familiar member here in the Valley chapter. Glad to have him back. I've known Jeremy now for 3 or 4 years, and it seems like he's here, he's gone, he's here, and he's gone. And that's not an employment track record. That is because he's busy serving our country. Actually now twice over in Iraq, is that correct?
The first time was more of a train-up. We went over for training purposes, and then it was just a short time. And then about 8 months later was the full deployment, and I was gone for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell us a little bit about your experience over there, what you've learned, and how happy you are to be back here. We, as your brethren here in the chapter, appreciate what you do. We like having you here, believe me. But we really appreciate and admire what you do for us over there. Tell us about that.
Well, in November of 2003, my national, I'm in the California National Guard, and our unit was mobilized to do 4 months of train up in Fort Lewis, Washington, and then from there we would mobilize to Iraq. We started in Kuwait and then moved over to Iraq. Some of the things that we did there, it was more of a stabilization services. We would interact more with the community. We would provide force protection to the local bases, but a lot of interaction. We would spend a lot of time getting to know the local population, learn more about them, have them learn more about us, so this way we can develop a relationship with them, similar to what I do in security and in sales. Mm-hmm. It's all about developing relationships. And from that, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the Muslim community, the Iraqi people. It was an interesting time. I am glad to be home.
Good. Well, we're glad to have you back. Now, relative to the way security is provided to a gated community, I can't think of one that provides security that isn't gated, but there are so many different services that security companies provide to common interest development. Sometimes it's manning a guard gate for 24 hours, and sometimes it's sometimes it's something as simple as a roving patrol that they choose to set through their parking areas a couple of times tonight to provide that extra oversight and presence. What have you learned about what different kinds of services are available for a residential community?
Well, there are a variety of services that any security service could provide. As you mentioned, residents want control of who's coming into the community, so the gated officer is vital to ingress and egress of people, not just residents, but their guests, vendors, gardeners, healthcare providers, pool attendants, any number of folks. And they have to be screened and allowed into the community in that way.
Yeah, I'm not sure people realize how many people, especially in the upper echelon type clubs like we're lucky to have here in Southern California. Like you're saying, they're responsible for a lot of these things on their own home. So their maid, their pool person, their landscaper, their healthcare provider, like you're saying. There is a lot of traffic separate and aside from the owners and the residents of that community, isn't there?
There's a lot of traffic, and we need to make sure that they are supposed to be there, that they aren't coming in casing the place to commit a robbery or burglary. So they do need to be verified and classified as coming in. And we've done a number of programs there. We have a decal program that any vendor has to register with the community, identify who they are, that they are legitimate to be doing business in the state of California, that they are citizens, that they have insurance in the event that they cause an accident to a homeowner's personal property, that they have workers' compensation insurance in the event someone is injured on our property, that we're not responsible for them. And that helps qualify them as they come through the gate and into the community.
Now that's something we need to make the people aware of. Every time a person or vendor comes onto your property, more than likely it's private property. So we're assuming immediately, inherently a liability there. And I'm not sure that the general public stops and thinks about that. So when you're saying that at some of these top clubs that you're really, basically what you're saying is you're building a database there of all the people that service all of the residents so you can know who's on that property.
Absolutely. And we use integrated access services for our gates, and we use transponders or the recognition devices in the windows that register on the computer who came in, when they left,
right,
for our residents and those people that have that service. And then the decal program that we have for our vendors. There's people moving in, there's people moving out. It's a constant flux, so there's moving vans constantly in, new owners coming in that might have community services of furniture deliveries, and it's just very, very busy. I might just say that I am in Sun City. We do have probably about 5,000 homes, so about 9,000 residents. And we're estimating that from what we see, between 25 and 30,000 entries into the community on a daily basis. 25 to 30,000 a day.
Through
the gates, yeah.
Boy, that makes that maintenance a wear and tear item, doesn't it? Okay. Well, we're into our discussion on gated communities and security and the different services available to those communities' common interest developments with representatives from Allied Barton Security Services. We're going to be coming back in just a minute, finish up our discussion. Stay with us. 24-hour live security at certain gates can still have problems. Explain to people what the misconceptions are about security, but more importantly, what it is you're trying to provide the homeowners as far as for their peace of mind.
CAI Report is brought to you by Bright and Clean Windows. Trust Southern California's favorite window cleaning company to provide consistent, quality window cleaning service to your home and office. Let Bright and Clean Windows make you look great by removing hard water stains from windows and shower door enclosures and by cleaning windows and mirrors to a gleaming shine. Call 346-9274. And by Diamond Fusion, a patented award-winning technology that transforms ordinary shower glass and porcelain into low-maintenance surfaces, used by manufacturers like DuPont and by homeowners and resorts to maintain a clean image and save money while making life easier by making cleaning easier. Call 773-2825.
This is Mary Howell with the law firm of Epstein, Grinnell & Howell. With 3 Southern California locations and 20 attorneys, we offer prompt legal advice to homeowners associations. We can help you build a better neighborhood. Give us a call.
Epstein, Grinnell & Howell, helping you survive a legal sea of change.
We're back with the CAI Report. I'm Mike Livingston with you here in the Coachella Valley chapter of CAI. Today with us we have representatives from Allied Barton Security Services, Maury Mortensen and Jeremy Ridgway, who we're glad to have back here in our Coachella Valley chapter. Jeremy, you've been in the chapter for a while now, and you've always been in the same business, but you've now interacted with several of the different members of our chapter, and you've met other vendors, you've met managers, you've met insurance people, service providers. What has your experience with CAI lent to to bringing in your company and wanting to be represented there?
Well, CAI was just a fantastic success for us. It's what introduced me to all the prospects really that I deal with on a day-to-day basis for sales. Also developed quite a few friends in the Valley. I don't live here, so I live in San Diego County. For me, it's a commute to come out here and really have no other option other than CAI to meet people and to develop relationships with. So CAI was the forefront for me and Allied Barton to come into the Valley as a premier service provider.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, you want to continue your presence here in the Valley with Maury here. Explain to me. People have a perception. I think that sometimes the word security means you're safe. Okay? And we have walls around our communities. We have gates around our communities. But even those that have 24-hour live security at certain gates can still have problems. Explain to people what the misconceptions are about security, but more importantly, what it is you're trying to provide the homeowners as far as for their peace of mind.
We are trying to provide a sense of security. Each facility, or should I say, each market segment is very different. The hotel industry, the hospitality industry is so very different from gated and residential communities, logistics, and that sort of thing. So what we want to do is we want to be able to become experts in that market segment, and that's what I've done. I've been chosen to really bring myself into the gated and residential community, learn as much as I can about it, and to be able to provide a service for the residents' needs. Each community has different needs, and what we need to do is we need to find out what those needs are and then provide that service to the best of our ability. And one of the common misconceptions about security services, a lot of people would look at the security officer as the night watchman. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to raise that level. What we want to do is we want to make it, and we have. Well, not just us, but a few of our other security vendors have done the same thing. We want to raise that level. We want to make it more of a profession rather than a commodity.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be a commodity, but we want to look at it differently. It's a people service. We're providing human beings, someone that's going to be standing at your front gate, a person that's going to be waving to you as you come in through the gate. So it's not just a matter of someone checking decals and making sure that the construction crews and the vendors for that community are gone at the end of the day. It's more of almost a concierge service.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, how are you today? Or to even the potential buyers, person that's coming into that community, you want to see a smile as you come into that community. If you see a person or a security officer that just doesn't look their best, isn't smiling, has poor body language, that's gonna display how you feel about that's your first impression. It's going to display how you feel about that community.
Right.
So what we want to do is, and we have done, and we've been very successful at it, is providing a higher quality officer. And Allied Barton, what we do is we spend a lot of time on our training program. And again, as I mentioned, in market segment. So in other words, we've developed a training program for residential and gated communities. So we have the officer that may have come from a construction site or a logistics site. Will actually take that security officer aside and train them on the specific needs of a residential and gated community. We've been very successful at that.
Well, that's great, and you kind of hit on it there, the personal touch, and I think it's something that Maury alluded to earlier on, and basically residential is knowing your people. I mean, for example, there's a comfort zone there whenever you have a continuity with the officer in this particular instance. Somebody who's smiling, like you said, for a first impression, that comes from your background and mine in the hospitality business. But I'll tell you, for example, there's one very high scale property right down the street here. They've had the same gentleman at the front gate Monday through Friday for the last 10 years, and I look forward to seeing him. He asks how my children are, and I guess you're only as good as the person that's out there in that particular community, but what can you do in your type of business to maintain that continuity?
Well, that's what I think is very special about Allied Barton. We have a variety of training programs, not only that are self-driven by the officer, but also driven by the account manager. So I have a duty in my overall role is to train the officer of the importance of customer service and taking care of how we greet the customer, as Jeremy was saying, and continuing that training through. Allied Barton has web-based programming that employees can get right online and do it from home. They can do it from the office. We're unique, I guess, in Sun City that there is a computer club, and they allow us to come in, and the officers can get right online and take classes on site among the residents, and they love it when they're doing that.
Now that's a real example right there of really working hand in hand, or almost recreating hand in hand with the same people that are your clients and getting to know them.
Absolutely, and they love that. And most of the classes that they do there is, if you are a patrol officer, we have a defensive driving course that you must go through with the that they do right online there. So, and we have a variety of other programs. Before the officer even walks onto the property, there's a SOBC, which is the Security Officer Basic Training Course that Allied Barton provides for the person. To work in a private security, you need to have a guard card, which is licensed by the state that you've been checked out. The vision statement of Allied Barton is quality people, quality training equals quality security. So we look for the right person, we provide quality training, and the end result is we have a quality security package that we can provide for the residents.
Well, good. I think that as a consumer, I'm take off one hat, put on another. I'm also the board president where I live, and those are the types of things that I, as a consumer, am looking for. So, again, we have one more segment we're going to get to spend with Maury Mortensen and Jeremy Ridgway from Allied Barton Security. Mike Livingston with you on the CAI Report. We'll be right back.
We keep putting out security tips. You need to update your firewalls. You need to start shredding documents that have personal information on.
CAI Report is brought to you by Bright and Clean Windows. Trust Southern California's favorite window cleaning company to provide consistent, quality window cleaning service to your home and office. Let Bright and Clean Windows make you look great by removing hard water stains from windows and shower door enclosures, and by cleaning windows and mirrors to a gleaming shine. Call 346-9274. And by Diamond Fusion, a patented award-winning technology that transforms ordinary shower glass and porcelain into low-maintenance surfaces, used by manufacturers like DuPont and by homeowners and resorts to maintain a clean image and save money while making life easier by making cleaning easier. Call 773-2825.
Are you getting the most out of your banking relationship? At Community Association Bank, we exclusively serve community associations and professional management companies, saving you time by handling your banking transactions at your office. Community Association Bank. One bank, multiple options, maximum returns. Alante Insurance Services is a leader in serving the HOA community for over 20 years, offering homeowners association insurance, fidelity bond insurance, earthquake insurance, employee benefits insurance. We provide the fully integrated service TOPS, providing the optimum protection service. Alante Insurance Services, a division of Millennium Corporate Solutions.
Thanks and welcome back. Mike Livingston and you on the CAI Report, here from the Coachella Valley chapter of the CAI. With us today, Maury Mortensen and Jeremy Ridgway from Allied Barton Security Services, and they've been members of our chapter now for quite a while. They're one of our favorite vendors. They support the chapter very well, and they interact with our managers and our other vendors on some of the committees that we have. Maury, what are some of the issues that are facing homeowners associations in general today? I think that in general, if you went down the street and you were a criminal, for example, and you were looking for your place, people that are there on site watching the place seems to give the perception of being a little bit more safe, so you would think that maybe they would move on down the street. But what are some of the things that you're finding in today's residential crime that owners can watch out for?
Well, there are a few, and they're pretty basic. We're members of the Resort Community Security Association, the RCSA, and the Sheriff's Department shares a number of things that are happening in communities throughout the valley. And it's not an intent crime that's occurring, it's a desire and opportunity. So where we can't control the desire of a person to commit a crime, we can control opportunity. So we're constantly talking to our residents of, if you have a car in the driveway, put the windows up, lock the car, don't have temptations in the vehicle, don't leave like a camcorder or cameras or CDs in the car. That would be a temptation to someone to just do a smash and grab, and in 2 seconds their property is gone. Mm-hmm. We're into our hot season, our warm season, so So even though we want to keep our windows closed, our sliders closed, crimes of opportunity is someone who can just do a reach in and grab personal property from inside your home. Garage doors, it gets kind of warm in the garage. People want to leave their garage door open, but you have lots of personal property available that someone can just run in and take that property out. So we notify our residents if we do not see anyone in the garage. The patrol officer who's driving the streets 24/7, if he sees the garage door open and no one inside, he makes a phone call to the resident, says, your garage door is open, are you aware of that? Maybe you should close it.
Right.
If they've got it open an inch or two, that just allows some air in, that's okay, but if it's open, we do call. And we're finding that by communicating to our residents in that way, we get on the community website and do announcements. I do a monthly article in the News and Views, which is our publication of not only activities, but I get a security piece in there as well. Just it's communicate, and continuously share this message. And the other really big one right now is identity theft. And seniors have, they've got the fruits of their life, and they have assets, and there are people that will target them. So we're talking about don't put mail out to be picked up by the post office. Save that to actually go to the post office and go inside and drop it off. Again, through the RCSA Association, we've learned that people are actually going to the mail drop-off boxes with the sticky sticks and sticking them in and taking out personal mail. So it's safer to actually go to the post office, drop that off, especially if you have the things like you're paying bills with account numbers and that personal information that the identity thieves are looking for. So it's just sharing that information with the residents.
Boy, just like any other walk of life, it seems like the criminals are progressing, and there's new ways and means to do everything. You mentioned the RCSA, the Resort Community Security Association, and that is it's an offshoot group. It doesn't really have anything to do with CAI other than it has a lot of the same members, managers and representatives from security companies, and a lot of our board members of our different communities are involved in the RCSA. And Jeremy, you've been involved in that for quite a while.
Right.
Tell us how that, if I'm not mistaken, did that not start as a valley-wide task force because of the crime problem we were having 5 or 6 years ago?
I don't know. I haven't been a member all that long. It's been about 3 years. And at first I was brought in by a few friends. Hey, you've got to come to this, and I did. And it's very educational because it's a forum. It's a mix of, as you mentioned, the security professionals in the area. It's board members. It's the association management, and it's also the local sheriff's department and police departments. And what they'll do is they'll provide some sort of intelligence letting us know, hey, this is what's going on in the valley. This is what we've seen. This is a trend that's been going on here. And then what we'll do as security professionals, we'll take that information, we'll provide ways to help combat that within our communities that we provide service in, and others as well, because we belong to this forum. So we'll help educate the community members that don't attend to that. And what we want to do is we want to make it a hardened target, so to speak, as we would use in the military, not a soft target for the criminals to come by and just, as Maury mentioned, walk into your garage and pick something up. We want to educate everyone and get everyone more involved. And it's part of our responsibility as a vendor to educate our residents in the communities that we provide service for.
And I'm assuming that in today's day and age, especially, Maury was talking about identity theft, that your clientele would be a little bit more receptive in today's day and age, wanting to make sure they can protect anything that they can. So basically what you're saying is that RCSA group that meets is really a peer group, educational group for people within the industry to share ideas and network, but at the same time kind of be on the same page about what's going on in general around
Absolutely.
it. I would assume that would also put you in a position to evaluate other tactics and other procedures and ideas that come from other properties. How have you been able to take and apply any of those any of the information you're learning down there at the RCSA into some of the other communities that you're providing services for?
We sure have, and it's not just the communities, it's everyone in general. It's residents everywhere, whether you're in a gated community or in a corporate office or just Mike Livingston at home. As you mentioned, identity theft is just a huge topic right now for everyone. Everybody is being touched by this unfortunate crime. So what we keep doing is we keep putting out security tips. You need to update your firewalls. You need to start shredding documents that have personal information on. And by doing this, it's going to limit the chances of you being affected by this crime. Mm-hmm. So yes, we have seen quite a bit of reduction in that with people when people apply those things.
Right. Okay. Great. Well, again, something else that we have to be concerned about here in Southern California in general, when it comes to residential security, is especially here in the Coachella Valley, Maury, we have people that go away in the summertime, and sometimes we have people. It's not quite as transient as it used to be, but this is a community that was built on being a transient community, i.e., 6 months a year this place used to be asleep, if you remember. Not so anymore, but nonetheless we still have many residents, anywhere from 35 to 50%, depending on which poll you're listening to, that are gone for the summer. What does that bring to the table as far as new challenges for you and me?
Well, that's a recent article that I wrote for the News and Views of just that Alley Barton is a community patrol. We have our people that are patrolling 24/7, but we can't be all places at all times. One of the strengths that we have at Sun City is our neighbors. They have a very active emergency preparedness program that they do drills on. In that same relationship, you should know who your neighbor is, and you can share with your neighbor who is your gardener, what vehicle he drives, what it looks like, who his employees are, and who's coming to his home. And if he's going to be away for some period of time, a strong neighborhood watch is recommended. That hey, I don't recognize that truck. I'm going to call security. Community patrol responds and takes care of that. Mm-hmm. Those are ways of just developing strong, as you would even in an outside residential environment away from the gate, just strong relationships with your neighbor. Right.
That's a good point. Very good point. And also something that in today's big booming age of people being busy and the economy booming, that may get lost a little bit in the translation. So I'm a big proponent of the neighborhood watch. Maury, I'd like to thank you for being on our show today. It has been a pleasure to have you on. I would assume that our general viewing public has really gained a lot from this and will consider this as they move forward in their HOA. Jeremy Ridgway also, as usual, glad to see you, glad to have you back. Please don't leave again, and we'll keep you right here in our chapter and not let you go. Again, Mike Livingston with you for the CAI Report. We appreciate your viewing CAI television and look forward to seeing you next time.